I have told you at least twice now in recent videos about the threat that a potential Kamala Harris administration would be to our fundamental rights of free speech. And I want to play for you a clip from a recent interview between Robert Kennedy Jr. and Jordan Peterson on the Daily Wire. And I think that Robert Kennedy Jr. hit the nail on the head here, that if someone does not understand that a person's right to free speech, to be able to say what they want to, is an absolute right, that they should automatically be disqualified for running for President of the United States. And I would go one step further. For any office, any political office in the United States of America. But I want you to listen to this clip and then I want to talk about it. Hang in there because it's a good one.
To me, it's a disqualifier to be president of the United States if you don't believe in freedom of speech. And Vice President Harris has repeatedly said that the First Amendment is a privilege, not a right, that the government has a duty to censor what she calls misinformation and disinformation, that's not protected by the First
That's a very
Amendment.
dangerous word, misinformation.
It's first of all, the First Amendment protects all speech. It protects lies. It protects, it was passed not to protect convenient speech, but to protect the speech that nobody wants to hear. And when the government takes upon itself the right to decide what's true and what's not true, then you have a totalitarian system because, of course, it's going to, and we saw this during COVID where the government was really the biggest propagator of misinformation, of factually inaccurate information, that it then uses the control of information to manipulate the public.
I couldn't have said it any better myself. Robert Kennedy Jr. hit the nail on the head. If you do not believe that the First Amendment and our right to free speech is an absolute fundamental right, you should not run for President of the United States. And I have told you that Kamala Harris has proposed that if someone does not censor what the government deems as hate speech, that the government should come in and regulate those companies and also come after you as an individual. This is scary. And I told you in previous videos that if someone makes a tyrannical threat like that, we ought to take them at their word. So I have to ask you, if someone threatens to take away a fundamental right in the name of censoring hate speech and protecting Americans from what is hateful, I do not believe that they understand what it truly means to be an American. The First Amendment is absolute. The First Amendment protects your right and my right to say whatever we want without the fear of government censorship. And yet we have someone who is running, who has herself said, and her running mate, that we do not have a right to spread what they deem to be misinformation. Well, I have news for you. A person can say whatever they want to say, and it is up to you and me as individuals to discern fact from fiction. America does not work and work well unless we have an informed populace. That is where the responsibility lies upon us, to be informed and to be able to decipher what is true and what is not. It is not the job or the responsibility of the government to set the narrative. And yet we've seen this. We've seen this multiple times. We have especially seen this during the COVID-19 pandemic, where we have seen Facebook come out in the month of August and admit that they censored information during the COVID-19 pandemic that they deemed to be harmful under pressure from the government. This should scare the hell out of every single American. And I'm telling you this, not because I'm some fearmonger, but because this is a fundamental right. And we need to wake up as the American people and realize that the government does not have that authority to be able to pressure social media companies, to be able to pressure them with threats of removing their platform status, to censor what they deem to be acceptable and what is not. They are not the arbiters of truth. We have a fundamental and absolute right to free speech. And if we allow this to happen, if we allow the government to come in and to take away our fundamental right of free speech, then I have a hard time calling it America anymore. That's what makes us different. That's what makes us unique. That our founding documents tell the government what they can do, not what we can do as citizens. We have absolute rights, and they have strict responsibilities to protect those rights and to not exceed their constitutional bounds. But they're doing that. And they're doing that because we have abdicated our responsibility as American citizens. We must hold them accountable. And I do not see how anyone who believes in free speech can vote for a Kamala Harris administration. Someone who has outright told you that she will direct government agencies to censor what you're able to say online. And like it or not, ladies and gentlemen, the online world right now is the public square. And so to allow the government to come in and to pressure or to force social media companies to curate a narrative that is acceptable to them is fundamentally un-American. Now, I have good news for you, because Robert Kennedy Jr. was actually given the green light by a district court judge in August to sue the Biden-Harris administration for forcibly censoring their campaign in the month of August. He was given the green light to be able to do that because of the fact that they had been censored trying to get out accurate information due to how to deal with the COVID-19 pandemic and trying to waken up the American people that all this censorship and these government lockdowns were not necessary. But what did we see? We saw Mark Zuckerberg come out and admit that the government forced them to do this, to censor the campaign of Robert Kennedy Jr. Now, this should outrage every single American. I know it certainly does me, because we are seeing a government that the founders warned us about. And I hope and pray to God that he is able to sue the pants off of the Biden and Harris administration. This is an important case, and as I get updates, I will share them with you. I encourage every single American who believes in freedom of speech to pray for Robert Kennedy Jr. because he is the last of what I believe is a dying breed. The old school liberal who believes in civil rights, who believes in free speech, who believes that you should have a right to put in your body what you see fit, and not to put in your body what you see fit, and that you, as an individual, can figure that out. These are things I can agree with. These are things I can support. And I believe that is why Robert Kennedy Jr. has now aligned himself with former President Donald Trump, because President Trump has assured him that if he is to win, that he will allow him to work within the administration. I believe that this is a good thing, that we are seeing an alliance of people who may not agree on every issue of policy, but they agree on fundamental rights. They agree on the Bill of Rights, those first 10 amendments that we should hold as sacred. And I want to encourage every single American to understand what a threat the Kamala Harris administration would be if she were to be elected to the highest office in the land. Please, if you believe in free speech, I don't see how you could possibly vote for this, because more will come, but we can prevent it. And as I have told you before, sunlight is the best disinfectant. That's why I'm talking to you about this now, to get this information out. So do me a favor, help me get the information out, help me get this message out, spread it to as many people as you can, share this video, like it because it helps out the algorithm, and subscribe to my channel for more content. It helps to grow and expand the channel. See you in the next video.